Joining us now is neuroscientist Dr. Bankole Johnson. Dr. Johnson, thank you so much for being here. Within the last week, California, New Mexico, Arkansas, West Virginia, and even Colorado expanded boosters to all adults. What would a nationwide expansion mean for case numbers?
First of all, thank you for having me on your show. And I think it would be tremendous for everybody to be able to get a booster shot. We do know, for example, that the efficacy even of the second dose has been decreasing in people who got the second one. And so it's important for everyone to be eligible to get booster shots. It is a tremendous logistical feat, as you can imagine, because it would require basically the same effort that it took, perhaps to get everyone their second shot of vaccination. So it's going to be a terrific effort, really, from the federal government and from the local agencies, the states and the governor's offices to get this done in the health services.
Do we think it has the potential to reduce cases, especially amid kind of holiday travel and potential for breakthrough cases being a concern, because many more people who are vaccinated may be more inclined to travel?
Absolutely. And this is a critical time. At Thanksgiving, which is one of our busiest travel times, it is very possible that we could get a huge spike in the amount of people who get COVID. This is really compounded by the fact that we're also in the middle of the flu season, and we haven't hit the heights yet of the flu season, but that's coming. So you basically can get a double whammy. And now also, as you know, overdose deaths, fentanyl rates are increasing, alcohol use is increasing. So basically we're in the middle of a tridemic. And this is a very perilous time for the health services of the United States. And all we can do, that we need to do, has to be done to be able to try and keep the numbers of individuals who get infected with COVID down.
Yeah, we covered that staggering opioid death yesterday. The numbers yesterday, 100,000 over a 12-month period, pretty staggering there. In terms of the supply of booster shots, how does the supply of booster shots impact the supply of initial doses? Is there anything to be concerned there?
There's nothing to be concerned about, and I think that the United States, actually most of the pharmaceutical companies involved in manufacture have reported that they in some ways have a surplus. And the reason for that is the penetration rate of taking the second vaccine has not been as high as we had all hoped and expected. You know, roughly just about over 50% of the American population has been vaccinated. And so that has been for the second time, so that's been fairly disappointing. And so in some ways we have a surplus, and we are able to get that to where it's really needed in the United States.
It seems like we can likely expect approval of a booster shot, I guess for all, it seems like, by Friday. There is a chance, though, that there could be a restriction for those over 30 because of this kind of rare side effects seen mainly in young men. Can you share kind of the findings in this data with the side effect and what we know about just booster side effects overall?
Well, generally, the side effects of the booster are very similar to the second dose of the vaccine. Some people feel a little bit more ill, and some people develop closer to flu-like symptoms when they have the second shot. Some people also are able to develop what I would call localized muscular pain at the site of the injection. But these are really quite minor compared to actually getting COVID. The other piece of information that you brought about is that in some young people under the age of 30, there is a rare possibility that they can develop a type of myocarditis, which is a mild inflammation of the heart. And this needs to be monitored. But if you look at the evidence and the statistics, everybody basically mostly pulls through. And so the risk is fairly low, but no one wants to get ill taking a vaccine. No one wants to be harmed, and therefore this is a precaution. I would say that if you're over 30, having a booster shot is really a great idea. Under the age of 30, you should think about it, especially if you're immunocompromised, especially if you have conditions pre-existing health conditions that can be a complication with the vaccine. But if you're immunocompromised, which I was about to say, you really should have the vaccine because it will really help your chances of survival.
Yeah. Doctor, in terms of what Americans can expect the future of booster shots to look like, can you paint that picture for us in terms of, how often we'll need them, how normalized they will become, I guess in comparison to something like the flu shot?
I think we're beginning to settle down into a new reality. And I think that the reality is that it's not going to be 2 shots and we're done forever. I think that we're going to go through a period of having close to annual shots of various forms of the COVID vaccine. As the virus mutates, there's likely to be even perhaps more interim shots to be able to combat the COVID epidemic. And let me just say, it is very important a lot of people vaccinated. Yeah. And sometimes people do ask me the question, well, if a lot of people are vaccinated, why do I have to get vaccinated? The reason is we are not at the level of having anything close to what individuals would call herd immunity. Plus, the number of people getting sick, once that begins to escalate, we have a whole range of other problems, pressure on our hospitals, pressure on our economy, pressure on individuals living at home, and our inability to basically cope as a society or recover from the current pandemic.
Doctor, before I let you go really quickly here, we have seen health officials obviously recommend for the booster shot, a Moderna, a Pfizer booster shot over the Johnson & Johnson. Regardless if someone had got the Johnson & Johnson, that 1-dose vaccination, what are the health ramifications, if any, of combining Pfizer or Moderna with a J&J shot?
At the moment, it seems to be quite safe. And I think that the idea of using the Moderna and the Pfizer is that we actually know a little bit more about them, and we have had multiple dosing of both of those types of vaccines. And so I think that it is wise for most people to be able to take the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccine as their booster shot. Also, the efficacy of the Moderna and the Pfizer seem to be slightly higher than the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, even though the rates for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine are absolutely excellent.
Doctor, so glad to have your insight here and provide that insight to our viewers. Thank you so much to neuroscientist Dr. Bankole Johnson.